gone to a Pentecostal church, both in my youth and young adult life, I've been around different perspectives about this mark of the beast and having heard different perspectives about it. And I'll let you know my particular opinion after we finish our study. But so we're exploring the mark of the beast. So you see like the animal and the different heads there. Can you see it okay, Linda? Am I doing? And then, you know, that's quoted what we've already read in terms of the 666. But now, the first president that I heard of that they referred to as being the Antichrist and having the mark of the beast was President Reagan. And they called him that because of his name is Ronald Wilson Reagan. And when you spell out his name, it has 6 numbers in Ronald, 6 numbers in Wilson, and 6 numbers in Reagan. So they felt he was the mark of the beast. Those who remember the Reagan years, I know with anti-poverty programs, we felt he was some kind of beast. I don't know if we wanted to call him the true Antichrist, but that's how they referred to Reagan. See, and they had a big thing. I even think that the 700 Club used to talk about him like the mark of the beast. They did? Okay, I didn't. I said I think, because I couldn't remember, but I thought I heard it all the way back in the day. You know, they call him the Antichrist. Although he looks more like Superman to me now. The one who kind of had his neck broke. Then they said that Herbert Walker Bush was the Antichrist and the mark of the beast. When he was running for the nomination of president, he was on the Phil Donahue show. And he said, they asked him, well, how are you doing? He said, well, you know, we're batting 360s. That like went all over the place. And then the other reason why, at least within the Pentecostal branch of Zion, they viewed Herbert Walker Bush as part of the mark of the beast, because he always talked about the New World Order. And even his son always talked about the New World Order. And that's part of the readings, you know, in Revelation, this whole notion of the New World Order. People even viewed the European Union was part of the end times because it's 10 nations that came together under one flag to create this New World Order. So they didn't like him either. I guess that's why he was a one-term president. Now, oddly enough, I looked, maybe somebody else could find it, but I could not find any place where they, with all of Bill Clinton's stuff, they never called him the mark of the beast. I looked and looked and ran out of time, but they never, despite his stuff with Monica Lewinsky, right? They never.
Good morning.
Every pope that we've ever had, every pope that we've had since I've been a kid, there's been those lot of the conservative Christian wing. I'm not going to say the right political wing, but there's always been a branch of Zion that has viewed the Catholic Church as really a demonic entity or as a cult. And they didn't like Pope John, they didn't like Pope John Paul, they didn't like, the one who passed away. I was feeling so about Pope Benedict. They had plenty of pictures with him with the mark of the beast. But here's the latest, Pope Francis. And they consider him the Antichrist and the mark of the beast. But I'm here to tell you there are plenty of Catholics who love the Lord, plenty of good Catholic priests, good Catholic nuns, you know. But I'm just trying to show you how the world and quote-unquote some religions try to think they can identify.
Is he the one out there?
Yeah, that's Pope Francis. Yeah, well, you see how much they like him, right? The Catholic Church likes him. I like him. I think he got a great spirit. And then they've been calling our president the mark of the beast since before he was elected. You know, I mean, they had some pictures that were so much worse than this. I just couldn't, my heart just couldn't do it, you know. But they consider him the Antichrist. And then the other part of the propaganda, I was surprised to see this because I didn't know about this being viewed until I was doing some research. There are those who believe that the whole voters' identification that they're pushing for throughout the country, I'm not being political, that's on there. I didn't put up there Republican, they did. But they're viewing the voter identification piece as the mark of the beast because you're going to have a number with that. Obamacare, saying that Obamacare, and I haven't read all of it, it's a very large law, but they're claiming that in Obamacare, that everybody's gonna have to be tagged with microchips, and that's part of the mark of the beast with these microchips. Then, let's see, then they show you one that can be as small as on the tip of your finger, you know. Then Social Security. I can remember back when I was in high school, and they were talking, we had a presentation on the history of Social Security, and there was a gentleman who did a presentation at Montclair High School. It was 1970, and he talked about the time is going to come where you wouldn't have a Social Security card, but that they were going to put the Social Security number on newborn babies. Did you hear that too, Ms. Ellis? You not here? On the heel of their foot, you know, and folks just went ballistic about what, in fact, my kids didn't even get a Social Security card till it was time to apply for college when they needed money. Or when they had to get a little job, you know. I was too paranoid about, no, don't put nothing on my baby's feet. So then you see the chip, so that was another move of the mark of the beast. And then there's this Verichip that folks are saying is going to be part of it. If you see the Manchurian Candidate, even back in when the movie first came out, it was talking about this chip being put in his head. Then there was a new version of it, but I didn't see that was made within the last 10 years. And then this one, I found. Now that boy did not tattoo the 666 on his head. Somebody superimposed it along with red devil eyes. But I put that up there because the worldview of our black boys is that they're all the mark of the beast. And they don't value their lives. They just view our black boys as beasts. So I share those different images with you. But I talk about Pastor Green's wife, who ministered to my sister Tony, and she refused to have a credit card back in the day. She said, oh, she paid with cash. She said, no, those are done with numbers, and the numbers are the mark of the beast. You know, I said, well, I need my little credit. Sister Green, I'm going to ask the Lord to forgive me. And you know, our debit cards today, you know, everything's with different numbers. They talked and that you couldn't define. I do find amazing is that today, literally, we cannot buy or sell without a number. You know, I mean, if you have your cash, if you look at you kind of funny with the cash, but the cash even has numbers on it. So they've been different, and also, when I was at the Pentecostal church, when the girls were little, and I did research this to see if it still exists, but there's this computer, this humongous computer that was built in Sweden, and it was called the Beast. This was before the internet. I was taught this like in the 70s, and this Beast kind of like tracked everybody's information. So it would be what the internet is today, but I'll like try to get more research done on that in the next couple of weeks. But you know, we have all this going back and forth about the mark of the beast. And then we had our readings for the day. So let's turn to the chapter and see what our author has to say to us